Very much for coming, everyone, and thanks for staying for those who are. What we've actually got is the writer-director Oliver Irving, the composer Joe Hastings, and the actors Johnny White and Michael Pearce, who play Ronnie and Nicky respectively, are in New York just waiting to go on for a Q&A at the IFC Centre where we're playing at the moment. And what we're going to try and do is I'm going to call them on my phone, and so if you guys want to ask them some questions first, we've got a few minutes before they go into their Q&A. So we will see if I get them here.
Could this side be okay? Huh? This side better.
Anyone who's got a question already, really mind?
Hi, hear me? Okay, so Lucinda. Okay, hi. I'm just going to try and, will you get Oliver on the line, please?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Do you want to speak please?
Let's put Oliver on first, please.
Okay.
Can you hear them?
Yes.
Oliver, hi, how you doing?
Okay, you want to put your own show on speaker?
Yeah.
Do you want me to listen as well?
Okay, so everybody got a question for Oliver and the guys? Yeah.
The lady over there.
Right, Oliver, we're just going to get a question for you guys.
The film did a really great job of capturing very tight London spaces, and it was obviously all, I don't know, I couldn't tell how much was shot on set and how much was actually shot in real spaces. So can you tell a little bit about filming in those tight spaces and creating that kind of really enclosed, small, London, flat type environments? I'd love to hear more about that.
Okay, Oliver, did you hear the question?
That would be neat to repeat, please.
Okay, ladies asked, can you talk a little bit about your filming technique in kind of giving an impression of kind of filming in small spaces in London, and the kind of that kind of giving the impression of, you know, that, how you did that on filming.
Right. Yeah, well, I suppose an interesting scene to talk about there would be the scene in the boys' bedroom. The scene in the boys' bedroom where he sees his old bedroom and the little boy in there now, you know, he goes to his old house.
Yeah.
And what we did when we shot that scene is, because it was a very small room, we shot with a really, really wide angle lens, put it right in the doorway, and what we could do then is play with the way that the wide angle lens distorts things. So at the beginning of the scene, Rob's in the foreground and he looks really, really massive, and it's this tiny little boy because he's a little further away. And as the scene moves on, Rob moves around onto the bed and becomes smaller, and the little boy stands up and comes towards the camera, and he suddenly becomes much larger. So you get this kind of strange, skewed perspective on them.
Yeah.
And as the scene goes, he kind of gets smaller and smaller, and becomes like kind of becomes a little child again, and the little child becomes bigger. There's a lot of things we do like that when we try to play with people moving around, and to a lot of the film I'm using actually quite wide lenses and keeping that consistent, and then playing with the distortion within the frame.
Gotcha. And roughly how much was shot on set and how much was out and about in real places?
It was about 50-50, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Any other questions? Yeah, you go right there. Oliver, the question is, what was the inspiration and the thoughts behind the complex relationship between Art and his parents?
Complex relationship.
What was the inspiration behind it, the thoughts behind it?
Well, when I was researching the movie, what I was doing a lot was reading a whole lot of self-help books and therapy books and child-rearing books, and I read kind of hundreds and hundreds of these over the first year when I was writing the script. And one of the things that I noticed that came out consistently in all the different doctrines was that consistency was the most vital thing when you bring up a kid.
The question was, Oliver, in what ways do you think the film captured the contrast between the upper class and lower class? Or maybe had a comment about classes?
Not really, because I think the movie's basically about middle class people, so there's no kind of other value system in place other than middle class values. There's no upper class or working class in there. In a way, that's perhaps me looking towards American cinema, which doesn't tend to kind of focus on class in the same way that English cinema does. But within that film, it's kind of, I used to joke that it's a film about mediocrity, because in a way, a lot of like middle class values are about that kind of mediocrity. There's no extreme wealth or extreme poverty. But within that, it's actually quite a fertile ground for humour. It's my feeling.
Yeah. We've got the composer and the actors Ronnie and Nicky in the States as well, in case anybody wants to ask any questions. Any other questions for the guys?
Shall I just get everyone to say hi that's it, so people can hear?
Yeah, good idea.
Okay, we're going to go through them. So everyone's going to just stick into the thing and introduce themselves. They're all in the room with me right now. So first of all, I'm Johnny. I played Ronnie in the film.
They love you, Ronnie.
It's Michael. I play Nicky Phil.
They love you too, Nicky.
He's just taking the top off. I'm not sure I made that as a joke.
And have you got Joe there as well? Yeah.
Yeah.